fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
Evening, everyone. Evening. Slight change the lineup tonight. Unfortunately, Lee couldn't make it. He had a prior engagement with the boss, his partner, and you can't argue with the females of your relationship because it will cost you, unfortunately. Diesel will be joining us shortly, and in fact, on cue, here's Diesel. There we go.
Yeah.
How about that?
Oh, sorry, I'm late. How are you? You all right?
No. I just started, man. Question straight away for you, TJ.
Awesome. Can't wait.
TJ, do you want Arteta out like these guys? Can't understand it personally. We are 2 games in, and Arteta has clearly changed things up so we don't become predictable and don't get found out. There you go, my friend. Answer that one.
Well, thanks for having me on, Jez. I'm no league gunner, but you know what? I'm just as frustrated as he is, so maybe I can fill in just a little bit. Big up Diesel, big up Kenny Can every single time. What's up, guys? So he's on probation with me. I've said it on every stream. He's on probation with me. We need to win. We need to win something. Otherwise, I'm going to be Arteta out. It's plain and simple. It's time to win. The process is over. So as long as he continues to win, he can continue to stay. But we need to win. We need to win hardware. It's plain. It's plain as day. I'm really interested in this group's view on the playing style that we've put out there for the last 2 games. I think it's been uninspiring and very boring. But maybe I'm just an uneducated American watching the game, wanting to see a lot of goals and wanting to see some flowing football, and we just haven't seen it. You know, one or two goal differentials over the likes of Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace leave a lot to be desired. So, you know, I'm hearing certain channels saying, Jez, and maybe we can talk about this too, is that, you know, if we're underappreciating Kai Havertz and what Kai Havertz is bringing to the club. That's what I'm being told.
We're going to come to this.
Yeah.
Kenny Ken, welcome, my friend. Welcome.
Hello. The reason why I've been on my phone, because I think we've had dealings with this Teddy Daniels for quite a while. He's been slagging everyone off on the show for about a good few weeks. Ever since the season started, he was slagging himself after the Charity Shield, slagging himself after the Nottingham Forest game. He's been slagging himself right now. Teddy, you know, trying to question our knowledge of the game because he's a massive Arteta fan and that we're never happy. Well, I'm not too funny, right? Look what happened last year, Edward. Because I'm going to call you Edward because you deserve that. I'm not calling you Teddy. I'm going to call you Edward because you've been a naughty boy, Edward. Last year, Edward, we were celebrating games against Bournemouth and Aston Villa. In both those games, we conceded repetitive, clear-cut chances and conceded 2 clear goals. But we were winning, and people like you were celebrating. But that's where we lost the championship, because we were getting ourselves into bad habits, Edward. And because we've got ourselves into bad habits, we never eradicate them mistakes. Even games against Leeds United, where they had a chance straight from kickoff, just like the Bournemouth game, we never learned, and that resulted in us dropping the game at Anfield, then the West Ham, and then capitulating against Man City. But the die was cast at last year, and we were saying you can't win games like that. You can't always ride your luck. And it's the same thing here why we've got concerns, because Arteta is disrupting the team to bedding Kai Havertz and to play Declan Rice's main position. So the two casualties are Partey at right back and Gabriel not even getting a game. That's just a fact. And then he's even compromised it by buying a player, a goalkeeper that he's been after for 3 or 4 years. A year before we got Aaron Ramsdale, he hasn't changed his principles and wanted a goalkeeper who can play out from the back, who has excellent distribution. As it stands, Raya is third behind Edison and Addison. So he's got his number one. But did he play him against Crystal Palace? No, he didn't. He decided to go do the unthinkable, which is, for him, which is, put personal feelings before that. We are going to comment because we've seen it before and we've been watching football for a good few years, that if you get into bad habits when you're winning, you get found out. So that's why we're analysing it, Edward. And if you're not happy with what we do, you can always go over to the Gooner Talk. You can even speak to a good friend of mine who's got other channels and all these positive channels. You could either, I'll get one of the people who know Nick Ramsdale to get his number for you, and he might give you like a little pep talk and little, maybe a little well done for being a true fan. But right now, we're not going to be cowed or silenced by you, mate. No,
absolutely not. Had it last night from we know who under different names again. Is what it is. That's it. You need to contact me because I can't find you to get you back in the community as a mod. I've been trying before the show. It does show statics, but it's not you. So you need to contact me, or I will contact you because there's a link I need from you to do it, man. So let's get into this. Diesel coming on. Been a while. Loved your show last week, I think it was. I just don't know how you do it, like bang, 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 bang. It's class, absolute class. How you been, my friend?
Yeah, all good, thanks, mate. And once again, thanks for inviting me on. Good to see. Do you know what? It's funny, whenever I'm on a stream with Kenny, I always get a text message from my mum and dad saying, "My God, ain't Kenny got a lovely house?" But I swear to God, it's just come through. But no, other than that, mate, no, I'm good, thank you. Busy. Literally just got in from work. But I hate letting you down, Jez. So I thought, do you know what? I'd rather be 5 minutes late than not come at all. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it just seems with this club, there's always something to talk about, right? So
always, man, always. This is what annoys me with StreamYard here. There's a super chat here from. I'll come back to it. Right, Diesel, I'm going to ask you this question first, mate.
Yeah.
This starting lineup that we're messing about with, tinkering, twiddling, fiddling, whatever you want to call it, man. I just don't get it. I just don't see it. I don't know why you need to do it. We had a great setup last season. We had a back four in Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Toney. It was decent. They played well. They knew each other's games. They communicated. And yet, start of the season, right, he cocks it all up. Partey, right back. White, centre back. We know he's not good there. Saliba, centre back. And then we have Timber out, gone. Won't see him again this season. And Tomiyasu. I mean, I just don't see it, mate. I don't see it.
Do you know what, Jez? You know what it is, right? This is why I want this guy gone, because the time to mess about and try certain things was in pre-season, right? And, that's the time. That's win, lose or draw. No one really cares. They're at best exhibition games. They're all about fitness, right? I think we've all said that. Pre-season, they're nothing but fitness. Now, where it matters is in the league. And when I say where it matters, I'm on about from the very first game, right? Because don't forget, these guys, they got a lot to prove to us this season, right? I don't care what anybody says, the pundits, I know there's a big favoritism towards Arsenal at the moment. But the truth of the matter is they bottled it last season. And not because of Man City. We lost it. Not them. We lost it ourselves. Right? So the narrative of, oh, well, you know, they're going to be stronger for that. And they'll, you know, they've been playing together for another year. They'll be more experienced. And I'm a massive believer in team cohesion, Jez. I am. You know, if you look at the best teams who have won the leagues, a lot of them, they've all had team cohesion. And I think there's rumours. The starting lineup for me is all for one reason. It is all to accommodate a certain player by the name of Kai Havertz, right? That for me, that is what it is.
We're going to come to that.
Yeah, yep. And they paid big money. And obviously I won't touch too much on that, but that is Partey, when he's on song, and I've been one who said, look, sell him, because twice now in the season, when it really matters, he goes missing. And then people ask me, why are you so hard on Partey? Because I expect more from him. You know, I'm one of them people, you know, certain other players, when it happens, am I surprised? Probably not. Partey, for me, is the enforcer. He's meant to be the enforcer, you know, that governor, the boss in that midfield. And the midfield, for me, is the engine, is the heartbeat of, you know, of any team. But all this accommodating, I personally, and I said it on my stream, if our first game of the season was against Man City or Liverpool, he would not have started with that lineup. I genuinely believe that. The arrogance, oh, it's Forest. We can do it. It's only Forest. We're at home. Create your first game back. The atmosphere is going to be amazing. We're going to walk it. I genuinely think that was the mentality. And obviously in the first half, that's how it looked. It was men against boys. Second half, once again, and I say this all the time, this analogy, Arsenal for me are like a boxer. They are punching the opponent and the opponent's just standing there taking the punches. It gets to a point, Jez, this boxer who we're punching eventually is going to think, do you know what, sod this, I'm going to punch back. The minute they punch back, Arsenal, whoa, they're like that. Right? That for me is Arsenal, right? They have their foot on the throat, but they allow the opponent to get up, dust themselves off, and come at you. Man City don't do that. Once the foot's on the throat, that foot is staying on the throat.
Yep.
That's the difference. These guys, they're not ruthless, they're not killers. And a lot of that is to do with the manager. We were all complimentary about Mikel Arteta. It's not personal. I've maintained that. Don't know him, never met him. It's not personal. And I think he's actually done better than what I thought he would do. I hold my hands up. My thing is, I don't think he's the one to get us to that next level. He can get us to third, fourth, second, like he did last season, but to hit that next level, for me, it's not him.
No.
Right? It's not him. And that's why I think, thank you for what you've done. But he reminds me a little bit of Eddie Howe in terms of Newcastle doing really well. But for me, Eddie Howe is the manager who's keeping the seat warm for that big one who's coming later on down the line. That's how I look at Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
So,
great. Just a super chat from Danny. As always, Danny, thank you very much, mate. Facts upon facts after facts. Yeah, I mean, that's what we talk about on here. There's no bullshit here. People don't like it. Some people don't like it. But we always speak the facts. There's no rubbish, no bullshit. I mean, there's a lot of experienced people here who've watched hundreds, thousands of games. So we know what we're talking about. Kenny, I want to ask you this, mate, my friend. Diesel brought up a great point. Shoehorning Havertz into the team. Spent £65 million on him, one of our most ever expensive signings. I just want to ask you this, mate. Do you think he's lacking confidence?
No, I think what's happened is that he hasn't had a really since he scored a winner in the European Cup final 2 years ago. I think that the expectation levels on him from not just Chelsea fans, but in general, and also over the national team, because in Germany there's pressure on him as well because he's seen as the next Mesut Ozil. So he's had to deal with a lot of pressure. He just hasn't delivered. I think at Chelsea, when Tuchel was there and they had better players and they had a plan, I thought he played okay. Last season when there was no playing, where Aubameyang didn't work out, and then he had the upheaval of so many signings, certain players who were there just didn't want to be there, and then they had the managerial upheaval. It wasn't a good effort for his skills. But in terms of Arsenal, you would have thought he would have, where we were a better team, got better players, that he would settle into the side. But the problem is that he hasn't settled because the simple reason is that we we still don't know where he's going to play, what is his strengths, what are we going to do with the guy. But the thing about it, right, it's very easy to talk about Kai Havertz because he's not playing well. But one of the things I think people tend to not neglect to think about is that if you compare it last season, Man City had one of the best strikers in Europe, yet their style of play kind of changed initially, and they were not as effective as they were previous seasons. And everyone's saying Haaland has probably set the balance. And even though he's playing well, we all thought that was a silly thing to say, but there's an element of truth in it. And the reason why I'm bringing it in is that we've got another conundrum that people refuse to accept is because he's playing well and he looks like $1 million. But the question is, did we buy Declan Rice to play in his position for West Ham and pay £100 million for him to play in that position, the number 6? Or do we buy to play further forward? Because he's another conundrum that we're making him feel comfortable. We're getting the best out of him individually, and he has played exceptionally well. But in terms of balance of the team, I think he sets the balance because we still have that conundrum of the Granit Xhaka position, which was created by Arteta last season. We're still missing that area because Kai Havertz isn't making those runs that Granit Xhaka's made when we were dominating possession. He's, for some reason, it's difficult to see what he was doing because when I was at the Crystal Palace game, I was in the away end. I think he touched the ball about 4 or 5 times in the first half. And that's generous. He probably touched it less. I didn't notice him playing. In the second half, we only noticed him playing where with the substitution of Eddie, he had to play further forward. So we don't know his best strengths. But on the flip side, Rice has had a fantastic performance on Monday. But is he our best number 6? I don't think so. I think our best number 6 is playing at right back.
Yeah, I agree.
And that surely, if you buy a player for that amount of money, you should try and get him into that number 8 position, and then get Partey doing what he does best. Get White at right back until Timber comes back, and then you've got a decision to make. Or play Timber at the left because everyone seems to think Timber's a left back. Where I'm sure when I was watching him at Ajax, he played his best football as a centre half and the auxiliary right back. But football's a funny old game. Things change a lot because everyone's saying he's the best left back in the country when he's probably only played 3 games at left back, 2 of them competitive to Community Shield and the Nottingham Forest game. So these are the conundrums where I think it's going to be a situation where he has to show a bit of balls, Arteta. He has to decide if he's going to play Havertz in the number 8, then play him there, for God's sake, and make sure he plays that way. Or just say to Eddie, look, mate, I'm not sure yeah, you did okay at Crystal Palace. You were sharp, but this guy costed me 65 million. This guy's played in the European Championships for Germany, and he's won the Champions League. I'm playing him up front. Show a bit of balls, Mikel. Trying to incorporate players into the team in order to do what you're no good at, which is man management. Because I understand the pressure he's under, but he's compromised the balance of the team because he's lucky that we played Crystal Palace. And I'm not slagging off Crystal Palace. I do rate them really, really highly. But they ran out of ideas, and the calibre of player they have is not as high as it's compared to us. So that's why I do have some concerns regarding that. And then Nottingham Forest as well. We smashed them 5-0 last week, and then obviously they beat us last time. They haven't got the quality of player to make us pay for this indecision, in terms of tactics, team selection, and the fact that teams offsided. But, we got Fulham. They won't trouble us too much. What Man United? Now, we all know Man United ain't got a midfield. But you think Ten Hag is going to, allow, not play like I said, a defensive midfield against us at the Emirates, then everyone must be having like an off day or part of Cow Cuckoo Land. They're the team that could punish us for that. And after that, Everton away, they're terrible. But what about Tottenham? You know, are you going to play that? Are you going to play Partey at right back against Man United and Tottenham? Are you going to leave Gabriel out? Are you going to play Havertz, midfield Havertz, Odegaard and Rice? I don't think we can afford to do that. We have to win our first 5 or 6 games to challenge this title. Because if we don't, and Man City keep winning like I think they're going to win, they're going to be away. And then we're going to be playing for second place if we're lucky.
Absolutely. Fact. Lucas, sorry, I'll come to TJ, Dees, and I'll come back to you.
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Lucas heard, Jess, you said you always speak facts. We do. You've previously said Arteta would never challenge. So I'm afraid you're lying to yourself in the chat. Well, I don't think I'm lying because I supported him last season and I said he did well, but he didn't win. So he didn't actually win. If you're challenging, you win. That is what I'm trying to say. Maybe I didn't say it correctly, but don't call me out on it because at the end of the guy cocked it up. He got his tactics wrong at Liverpool. 2-0 up. And we walk out of there with a lucky 2-2 where we could have had, they'd scored their penalty. We'd have walked out there with 0 points. So don't give me that bollocks. At the end of the day, I hear what you're saying. If you are top of the league, right, up for 243, 248 days, and you capitulate, then you haven't done it. Anyway, we move on. TJ. Kai Havertz. Somebody last night actually was taking the pee out of me, and in a nice way. I honestly think there is a player there. I really do. It's just, I think the problem is when Arteta made the statement, I don't know where to play him, quote. He made that statement. So where do we play him? I think I'm going to go with what Kenny said. Stick him up front. Let's see what he can do. And now I've had this discussion on the weekend. When I watched the West Ham Chelsea game down my local pub with a load of Chelsea and West Ham fans. And guys that actually have watched Havertz far more than I have said there is a player there, but you just got to find him. And that's why I'm asking you, TJ, is it a lack of confidence? I don't know.
Trying to find the player in Kai Havertz is like trying to find the body of Jimmy Hoffa. Like nobody's going to find him. Chelsea haven't found him. Chelsea didn't find him. I don't understand how 3 managers, by the way, at Chelsea couldn't find him. And we expect Mikel Arteta, who half of this fan base doesn't rate, to find him. I don't know. I really think that shoehorning all of these midfielders in, playing Partey at right back and trying to find a position for Havertz hasn't really yielded enough for me to be convinced. I'm saying I'm off the Havertz train now. I said I was going to back him. I've backed him. I have not been impressed. And now I have to say, we need to either sit him against the big boys like the Tottenhams and the Man Uniteds that are coming up and play our normal formation or a 4-4-3 or a 4-2-3-1 like I've been saying before and take it to these guys the way we know we can. I think we're kind of taking the piss a little bit playing this 3-4-3 formation, putting Partey at right back and trying to experiment getting all of these midfielders in. But it really hasn't yielded the results that we need or that we expect out of this football club, who are going to need the goal difference at the end of the season. I really do have a feeling if we do challenge against Man City, it could come down to goal differential. And we should be absolutely killing teams like Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Sorry, we can rate. I rate Crystal Palace for the personnel that they have there. Roy is doing a good job because he really doesn't have that strong of a squad. Nottingham Forest, sorry, don't rate them. I think they're going to be lower into the table and in a relegation battle for most of the season. We should be beating these teams, guys. We should be beating these teams by at least 3 goals with the quality of player that we have in this squad. So if we're going to continue to play Kai Havertz because we're paying him 300 bags a week and really Arteta's staking his reputation on this transfer. If you really think about it, it could very well spell, a very bad mark against Arteta's record if it doesn't work out. So he's going to try his best to try to get Havertz in here. Do I think it's going to end up? I think by the end of the season or in a couple of games, I think he's probably going to be coming off the bench, just because we can't find that player that they had over at Leverkusen a couple of years ago. That's just my take, though. I really like to hear what Kenny has to say, because Kenny's at the game every single week. So maybe he's seeing something that I'm not seeing that would give Arteta like a reason to keep playing him. But me sitting here in Kansas City watching him, I don't see it. I'm obviously not seeing what Julian is seeing over at AFTV.
Oh,
So
man.
maybe somebody can educate me, because I don't see where this guy is going to fit in our starting 11, especially against Spurs, especially against Man City, especially against the big clubs that are coming out firing. So,
Jesus, I've become a Julian. Oh dear.
I'm
joking.
I just don't agree with the fact. I don't think there is a player there. I would love to be proven wrong. Man United and Arsenal are going to be eating a lot of crap this season because of the Mount and Havertz signings, and that's just the facts of it. These guys need to be coming out banging for how much we paid and how much they're getting paid.
I'm going to come to Diesel. Danny, man, thank you for your super sticker, my friend.
Legend.
Some reason StreamYard will not show the super stickers. I have got a couple of survey to all YouTube people, whatever, and I put a couple of points in there about this sort of thing and whatever. Diesel, I think you had a point to make, and sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I've got to say this, right? And I think a lot of this is obviously because of what we're seeing in social media with a lot of these Arsenal fans. I'm hearing things like, he's a confidence player. He's low in confidence. There's a there's a player in there somewhere. We just got to find him. And all the time I'm sitting here thinking, we're a team who's bottled it twice in the last 2 seasons. This is the season with the money being spent. Everyone telling us we've now got a better squad, meaning by that logic, we should be able to go one better. Going one better this season means winning the league. So,
Facts.
Again, I pair that up with Thierry Henry saying it's all nice at the Arsenal, everyone's all comfortable. Then I'm hearing in the next breath, this guy, 65 million, is on 300 odd grand a week, and he's been given a second chance in the Premier League, something that not a lot of players get. He's been given a second chance. He's not even had to move house, Jez. He stayed in London. He's comfortable. Players are privy to what goes on social media. They've all got mobile phones, iPads, whatever. They all see what the consensus of fans are saying about him. Kai Havertz he's no idiot. He would have known. There's loads and loads of Chelsea fans who've, over the years he's been, he's crap, he's shit, he's this, he's that. Thank you, Arsenal, for taking him. If that was me, Jez, the first game of the season, I would be playing like a man possessed, because I'll tell you something now. He has got so much to prove. And if he plays it right, he's in a position where he's got a massive opportunity to shut so many people up and make that 65 million look like a snip. And them Chelsea fans to say, oh my God, we had a player. He's gone to Arsenal. Now look at him. He's a worldie, right? Mm-hmm. That is in his grasp, right? The first 2 games, if it's Man City, Liverpool, all right, we've just played 2 teams who are more than likely going to be in a relegation battle this season. And he has not shown up in either of them. Kenny said it himself. That second game, 4 or 5 touches in the first half. For a midfield, I'm not on about a goalkeeper, I'm on about a midfield player. The ball is always 9 times in the middle of the park. And he touched it 4 or 5 times. That for me doesn't, I don't see a man who's thinking, do you know what? I had a bad time at Chelsea. This man has taken a punt on me. He's staked his reputation on me. He's paid big money for me. All right. The fans have welcomed me in, which a lot of Arsenal fans have, from day dot, from the first game. Watch me. Because we all know, Jez, when we watch a football game, whether you try things, whether they come off or not, you know when a player is working his nuts off. You know, right? And I'm telling you now, I watch him. He is a passenger. And I said it on my stream. For me, it's another Ozil, where it's going to be a circus around this player. People are going to be half in, fans are going to be half out, If we, and that was the thing with Ozil. Put that in front of him, put that beside him, put that behind him, put that over there, and you'll see the best of him. And I guarantee you now, all this accommodating we're having to do just to try and see, maybe get the best out of Havertz. I'm sorry, Jez, we've had 2 games where this man, Forrest, you're telling me that he can't even show up in that game? First game, home debut in front of the fans. You'd think he'd come out like a man possessed, and he didn't. Crystal Palace, again, didn't. So I'm sorry, but I just have this softy, nicey, do you know what I mean? Care Bears, Candy Floss, Disney World. No, I'm not into that, man. I want Xhaka, and I said it on my show, I don't like Xhaka. I'm glad he's gone. But one thing he did, last season, he worked his nuts off, and he had a bit of grit about him. I look at Havertz, he's one of them. He's a fairy. And for me, I don't think he's got it, but I don't know. So it's 2 games. He might shock me, but you think after the abuse this man's had, you think he'd come out and show the real Kai Havertz. If he's got anything about him, let's see it now.
I totally agree to a point what you're saying. The only thing I'll say, if we've paid out 65 million, then I want to see something come out. If not, get rid of him. Because I don't know, and I'm wondering this, and I'm going to ask TJ this, and I'm going to come to Kenny, right? Mm-hmm. Did Arteta actually want him, or is it there is some relationship going on between Edu and Chelsea? Because it seems to be that we like to take out the Chelsea rejects, and I've got a bit of a problem with that. Is it the fact that Arteta has had this player forced on him, and he's like, what the hell do I do now?
I think what's happening is that I was harked back to the Arteta's actual title, and that was the title he got after we won the FA Cup. He's a team manager. He's very much part of that, transfer committee, which includes himself, obviously, Vinay, Josh, Per Mertesacker, and they're very much part of that committee. And Arteta does have a voice. He does have overall control. He has this overall control over first team affairs, and he'll have the final say in terms of signing players. This is definitely his signing, 100%. He generally believes he can improve the player. And that's why he's gone for him. All the players that Mikel's had since the FA Cup final, winning it over Chelsea in 2020, have been his players. We know which ones have worked out, and we know which ones haven't. And he's just as much as Mikel Arteta has the final say over the players he wants. He also has the final say over players he doesn't want, and he won't select. You're seeing before your very eyes. There's a player that we all rate, but Mikel Arteta decided he does not fit into his plans. It's as clear as night as day. I mean, how many match day squads do you have to, realize, to come to that conclusion? First match day squad, he doesn't play. Second match day squad, he doesn't play. I mean, how many players have to be injured for this player to get a game? Yet we have a song, and he's part of it, and we actually called his player potential captain for the football club. So it's one of those things where it's easy to excuse Mikel when things go wrong, which a lot of people tend to do. But the minute he got that title as first team manager, you're part of that transfer committee. You're not just in charge of tactics and team selections, you're also in charge of players you want, because you would go to the board and say, look, this is the style of play that I'm playing, and I need this player. You need this player, But for some reason, it's that maybe he's, with more experience, he's probably thought, you know what, I spent a lot of money on these players. I've got to think about man management. I might need these guys if we're going to attack all the 3 competitions that I think we should be attacking, in my opinion. But again, you only have to look at the conundrum with Raya. I mean, the guy's had an open goal. He had an open goal there to change goalkeepers, because considering that you've been tracking a player for 3 years, way before Ramsdale was even considered. And let's not forget, when Ramsdale was bought 2 years ago, his preferred choice was Onana, who now plays for Man United. So Ramsdale, very much an 11th hour consideration, in my opinion. So again, maybe he's trying to keep players happy, especially his new signings, all trying to keep the team harmony. But at a bit of cost, because indecisiveness always ends one way, and it doesn't end well.
No, I totally agree. TJ, we're going to move on with some other chat. Danny, mate, another super sticker, mate. You are a legend, an absolute legend, bro. TJ, this Saturday, 3:00, Fulham at home. I'm expecting a big result there. Brentford turned them over, and I think with the team we've got, we should really be absolutely wiping their arse, because Arsenal really at home are a team that should take teams like that apart. I'll be watching the game, not live, unlike Kenny, but how do you see it go, mate?
We should win by 3 goals. That being said, if we play this 3-4-3 formation that we haven't figured out yet, it's probably going to be squeaky 1 again. I'm not getting overly excited this week about the state of the team. We have a gap at left back now. I mean, some people will disagree with me, but now we're going to have to play Zinchenko or QER at left back now that Tomiyasu's been shown the red and we lost Timber for the season. So the back line is looking thin, and I cannot believe I am saying that after the transfer window that we have had and how much money we have spent. I'm really not looking forward to seeing the same formation. I keep saying that because I'm hoping Arteta proves me wrong and goes back to a true 4 at the back with Saliba and Gabriel back there. I think if I say it enough, maybe he'll listen and he'll do it. But likely we're going to see the same 3-4-3 we saw before. People are watching it and people have figured it out. Bolstering the midfield has not gotten us the goal output that we need to really establish a lot of confidence within the fan base. I think, again, I'm going to go, 3 days out or 2 days out, whatever it is. I'm going to go with a 2-0. I wouldn't mind seeing Reyes start. I know we keep kind of bringing that up, but we have a 1A, 1B goaltender. Let's see him start. Ramsdale hasn't put a foot wrong, though, so I wouldn't be upset either way. But it's these kinds of games where, if you're going to keep trying things out with a 3-4-3, try out another goalkeeper that you just spent $3 million on and are probably going to spend the rest of that transfer on.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Diesel, Arsenal, Fulham at home. I'm expecting to hear, right, with our lineup, after what Brentford achieved at the weekend, I'm thinking this has got to be, we got to really take this game by the throat and keep our feet on that throat, and we've got to mash them 4-0. We need that goal difference, because our goal difference isn't looking good at the moment. You compare it how it was this time last season, it was looking positive. It's a bit shaky at the moment, mate. How are you seeing that game going?
Yeah, I think he's going to go with exactly what he has done in the last 2 games, because I think the arrogance again will creep in, and he's going to think, it's Fulham. They've just lost their main man up front. We're at home, 3:00 kickoff, home crowd, sunny day, and I genuinely think it's all to do. If we was at home to Man City, he would not be playing Partey at right back. I genuinely believe that. But it's Fulham, so he's using these in his eyes, these sort of easy games to sort of mess around with the lineup. Having said that, though, I even if he does that, I can't see anything but a home win, Jez. And I think I'd probably go for a 3-0. I can't even see Fulham scoring. I think that losing Mitrovic is a big blow to him. I do think, though, it will go in a similar fashion to Forest, where first half will just be all over them. I think with Arsenal, the thing with Arsenal, it's a double-edged sword. If they score early, you just feel that tension go, the pressure's off, and once they score early, they get the flow. They get their flow of the game. I think the longer the game goes on, you can, I don't know if you sense it, Kenny, when you're at the games, but you sense they start, misplaced balls and passes. I just think, but again, if they score early, Jez, they tend to can relax now.
Yeah.
They tend to drop a gear because they think it's done. And Fulham, for me, I look at Fulham. Yeah, they had a good season last season, but I just think without Mitrovic up there, I don't really see a big threat from them, if I'm honest with you. But after the first two games, I do think Arteta will get into him and say, "Look, I want this done and dusted, more or less by half time. Get the game won." And I do think, at home 3:00. Yeah, the crowd behind us, Jez. I can't see anything but a 3-0 win, if I'm honest.
I totally agree with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm going 4-0. Kenny, you'll be at that game at 3:00 Saturday afternoon. Look, last season, the opening 9 games, every game we came out of intensity, pace, passion. We were taking teams apart early doors. And I hear what Diesel just said. And then sometimes we sat back, that's not what Man City do. That's not how you win league championships. As Diesel just said, they've lost their top man, so they haven't really got a threat. But I just think Arteta's going to tinker about again.
I think what's happening is that I think we're going to stop being shots at his lineups. We can 100% see, that we feel that Partey's still going to play at right back. We feel that Eddie's going to play up front, and we know that Rice is going to play number 6. We know Havertz wherever he wants, wherever Arteta thinks is best for him. So we can't know the lineup. But in terms of what you said about Fulham, you're right. Mitrovic last season was absolutely brilliant for them. He was batting around Saliba. He gave Gabriel a run for his money, and he brought his players into the team. I think they got Raul Jimenez from Wolves. We don't know whether we're going to get the Raul Jimenez that we had before he had his head injury. Before his head injury 2 years ago, Raul Jimenez was I thought a superior striker to Mitrovic. Now Raul Jimenez, the fact that Wolves have got rid of him and he hasn't kept him says a lot. And then he's now gone to Fulham, so he's got a lot to prove. Has he got that kind of ability to hold off hold a fair set of halves? Is he going to be able to bring their players into play? Dakova, Reed, Willian into those games to make those runs and support him. That's going to be where it's going to be key. Where you've got to spot those runs. Either Declan Rice or Partey will be able to deal with that. But it's just something about Partey at right back. Very good. He hasn't. To be honest, he hasn't played badly at right back. He's still got that sort of strength. He still doesn't get completely beaten. He can be a bit careless in possession, but I don't know. I do expect us to win because simple reasons that we've got a fantastic home record, and I do think that if we can get our wingers on the flanks, Martinelli and Saka, I think that's where we're going to win the game. And then, if they can provide service, that's because right now, when I look at the team, I can only see 2 match winners in the team, and it's the 2 wingers for me. You have to Saka's goal is not in the Forest, and Martinelli's bit of skill for the chance for Eddie. So they're going to be our key players. Those 2 don't play well. There's going to be a hard slog.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Danny again, mate. Thank you very much.
Danny, you are the legend, my friend. You are the legend.
He's a top guy, this man. Absolutely, mate. Thank you once again. And Mama Flossie, I believe, has given somebody a membership for a month. I think, is that correct? Well done, Mama Flossie. Thank you for that. TJ, let's get on to this one, mate. Let's go on to this. I have great fears, but a player I rated, absolutely rated, in Pepe, he's apparently now back training with the squad. After being pushed out, he's now back. And it appears now, rumours, I've got no proof or evidence, that Arteta wants to keep him. After totally disrespecting him last season, made him train on his own. Now he's back in training with the squad. I mean, that to me is bloody poor management. You know, if you're running, look, let's not talk about football. Let's talk about if you're running a business, right? And you've got one of your players or one of your project managers. Let's put it that way. One of your project managers, right? Who's you think's not performing. You don't make him sit at a desk outside the office building, right? You try and encourage the fella. And I just don't get his management style at all. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. But apparently now he's back at London Colney, right? Training with the squad. I mean, please, somebody tell me, make it make sense. Because I don't understand. I really don't understand this.
Yeah. So first of all, Jez, I got to head back to work here in about 8 minutes. Thanks for having me on in case I have to drop. Again, thank you for having me on. Kenny, Diesel, absolute legends. So my thoughts on the Pepe situation is it bad that I'm glad he's back? I think that he can push on the right wing. And Reece Nelson isn't back yet either. So that injury is obviously worse than it was initially led on. They signed him to the new contract, but we haven't heard a thing about him since. So he sustained an injury in the preseason. He hasn't been back. He hasn't been training. So Pepe's probably coming in to fill that gap. I would like to see how Pepe does. Maybe coming in 60th, 70th minute in some game, pushing Saka a little bit more because Saka needs to be pushed. So, obviously it's been how many years? It's been 2 years since Pepe's played a competitive game, year and a half, 2 years for Arsenal.
Year and a half.
So, do I agree with how he's been treated? No. A month ago, we were talking about how Arteta was going to terminate his contract, So I can't back how Arteta's treating Pepe at all on this. But obviously, Pepe isn't calling to be let go. He's back in the squad and he's willing to train. He's not calling to be terminated. He's not calling to be transferred. Yeah. So maybe he wants to be a part of this thing. Maybe he wants to help push the team to a higher limit. I don't know. But we know that he can bag goals if he fits into the system correctly. So I want to see him get another shot. Call me optimistic. I think he can do stuff. I think he can do something in this team still. Call me overly optimistic. But no. I would love to see what he can do, to be honest.
I think personally, I'm going to say this, right? Nicolas Pepe is levels over Kai Havertz. Seriously, He's a different class. Before you have to drop out, TJ, shout yourself out. What's coming up on your channel in this week?
Yeah, so we're going to do a quick game preview for Fulham on, I believe, tomorrow with Connor. Just me and Connor are going to do a quick chat on that. It'll be probably early evening UK time, so keep a lookout for that. I'll post on my channel about that. And then the American Idiot Show, 9 p.m. UK. We're gonna have Deji Spurs on. So that's
he makes me laughing. I do like him, Deji.
It's been too long since we've had Deji on, so we're gonna have Deji on. That guy's an absolute riot. So we're gonna chop it up with him a little bit. 25th episode. Come on by. We'd love to see him. And if you haven't subscribed to TJ Warren TV already, we would appreciate it. We are on the road to 500 subs. We're about 48 off. So show your love, and I appreciate you having me on this.
Yeah, get them up to 500 subs, people. Top channel. I've been on there loads of times. It's always good fun.
Yeah,
it's always facts spoken. Before you go, mate, give me your prediction. Arsenal Fulham score.
if we play a true 4 at the back, 4-0. If we play the same formation we've been playing, I'm gonna go 2-1.
Fair play.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Jez. I'm gonna jet.
Take care, mate. Love to see you. Great. Thank you, man.
See you, CJ.
Slow, mate.
Unique 79, mate. Thank you very much for your super chat panel. Unfortunately, our football club is rotten from top to bottom. The Cronkies are not football people. Edu is useless, and Arteta is hard-headed, which concludes to 2 words: no accountability. Nothing will change, mate. You summed it up. Summed it up. Thank you, my friend, for your super chat. Diesel, Nicolas Pepe, a player I highly rate. Right. We spent £72 million on that player, stuck him out in the weeds, and now he's back. I mean, I just don't. You can't make it up, can you? With this manager, you can't make it up.
Yeah.
And then he sticks him out for no, like, out in the fields, and now he wants him back in training. I mean, that guy, if that was me, I'd be saying, Nicolas Arteta, fuck off. I want to go. I'll go to a club that actually appreciates me. Mate, have you say?
Do you know what? I've got a bit of a take on this, right? Firstly, I've got to be honest. I'll probably differ to you guys. I'm very torn when it comes to Pepe because I like him. I do like him. At the same time, I find him so frustrating to watch at times, right? And I just, you know what it is, Jez? I watch him and I just think, oh, he's for a man who's got so much ability. And we've seen it in flashes. He's never gone up that. You know, I watch him in games and I think he's got the pace, he's got the trickery, he's got the skill. He can easily go past the man. And he just, with Pepe, the handbrake's always on. And I've never understood why. I'll tell you something now, and I've always said this. Under Wenger, he'd have been an absolute baller, right? I genuinely believe under Wenger would have been the perfect manager for him. But, yeah, there's just something about Pepe that the handbrake's always on with him. Obviously, Arteta's not helped. Now, whether the player's not fancied or not, I think the way he's been treated is disgusting. I think a lot of it stems from the fact that he wasn't Arteta's signing. So his thing as well, you're the previous guy who was here before me. You're nothing to do with me. Over there, see you later. But the take I've got on it, I genuinely think, right, Arsenal have tried to ship him out. They've not been able to, and because he was our obviously before Declan Rice, 72 million. I honestly think, wouldn't surprise me, Jez, if someone at the club has said to Mikel, do you know what, we can't afford to terminate for that amount of money. No way are we terminating that contract, right? So Arteta, I believe, and let's be honest, if he sort of gets pally with him, even if he fakes it, he lies, he makes whatever he's got to do. It's similar to like the Lukaku situation at Chelsea, right? Yeah. If Pepe comes back into the fold, Jez and Kenny, right, and Arteta puts his arm around him, we go on about confidence. So yeah, I'll use that word, right? But I think a load of rubbish. But anyway, and obviously, just say we get an half decent Pepe, that alone we'll be able to easily offload him in the summer. You know, I think if he just has an average, okay-ish season, then we'll actually get something for him. You know, and that's what I personally believe. 72 million. There is no way they are terminating the contract of a player who cost us that much. And I genuinely believe someone, whoever it is, has said to Mikel, by hook or by crook, you need to get this player, fit him in, and you need to get something out of him. You need to, because there's no way we're letting him go for nothing. You know, so that's just my belief. But
I tend to agree with you there, mate. Actually, Kenny, Pepe's now back training with the squad. Apparently, I'm happy about it. I like him personally. And give me your view. What do you think? What's it all about?
Well, I think he's back with the squad because certain reasons, maybe to put him in the shop window. You know, in terms of because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I can't see how he gets into this team. You know, unfortunately, the team's moved away because of Mikel's lack of faith in him. If you look from last season, the team's just moved away from him, and it's not just him; it's moving away from Smith Rowe, whether we like it or not. You know, there's another player that we rate very highly because of his effectiveness, the way Smith Rowe can sort of like score goals from deep positions, make runs from deep positions, and score goals. Same with Pepe. Pepe is the most naturally gifted player at that football club. There's just no doubt about it. And in a perverse sort of way, so's Havertz. If you think about natural footballing ability, those two are on a par. The problem is Arteta only rates one of them. Only needs one of them. You know, the way Arsenal have to run when they don't have the ball, keep the shape. I just don't see how Pepe gets in. Even if he brought me on for the last half an hour to try and win the game, I could just see Arteta thinking, yeah, he's got that je ne sais quoi bit of skill, but hang on here, he might cost me. And that I can't get that. I can't get that in mind. That's where, you know, when I look at, you know, what Wayne Holness put, part of me wants to say, Wayne, you're wrong. But the other part of me kind of gets it. That's no Frittle Pepe's. It's the fact that it's a nurturing. I think what we missed a trick with Pepe, that after we won the FA Cup, where he was actually partly responsible, because you think of that front three we had with Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. That was a team that was the FA Cup final and previously won us the semi-final. And we always thought, well, you know what, we could kick on from there. And I thought Pepe would get his gig because of what he did for us in terms of winning the FA Cup. But lo and behold, he bought Willian, and that was it. It was beginning and end for Pepe. He still came on, still did his bits, but he became a bit of a pit bar player. And then the team just moved on without him, and that's a shame. That's purely down to the manager, you know, using his discretion to say, look, this guy ain't for me. And another thing that's killing Pepe, and this is the big loudest elephant, is Saka. Saka's just gone on, because they play the same position, don't they?
Yes.
Saka's just gone on different levels, and not just for England, not just for Arsenal, for England as well. So if you earmark that position where Pepe can play his best football, he ain't getting past Saka. It's not happening. So the only pathway is an understudy, a £72 million player as an understudy to a junior. Will it all go wrong? But I think it's best for everyone at the football club that we do find a buyer for him. But we're not going to find a buyer for him if he's not playing any football. So it's a conundrum. He can't get that.
Now. Yeah. We haven't gone to the window closing.
Yeah, that's it. We're getting a bit close to the window, but I don't know what the situation is. And then if he's been bought for £72 million, I can assume his wages are going to be the stickling point for any clubs abroad.
Yeah, he's on 140 grand a week, I think. 140.
Yeah. How many clubs in outside the big leagues, Spain and France and England pay that? They won't pay that. France, unless he's got a PSV, they'll pay that. But Marseille won't pay that. Nice won't pay that. Lyon can't afford it.
So you say that, but if we were Chelsea, Kenny, Chelsea would have sold him by now. Yeah, I generally, and this is the thing, you know, there's a lot of Arsenal fans sort of praising Edu for the summer we've had, but no one's talking about the outgoings. You know, we've got a lot of, when you think about it, we've got a very bloated squad, and I personally believe Arsenal can't get anyone else in because he's been told, no, you got to trim. You got to trim this.
You look at Chelsea's salaries. Chelsea spend a lot of money for players, but they pay but it doesn't equate to high salaries. You think of the salary that they're paying Mudryk, even though they paid an exorbitant amount of money for him. I'll be stunned if Mudryk is on anything over 100 grand. I heard he's on 80, but they spent a lot of money for him.
But the last several seasons, when that Marina was there, if Marina was here, I guarantee she would have found Pepe a home by now. I genuinely believe that. Yeah.
You know what will happen? What will happen is that with Marina, Graskaya, is that she would have, probably interfered a bit and said, "Look, you've got to play him. He's an asset. And then, because how are we going to get money back for him? And I think coaches would just say, "All right, yeah, we'll do that," and boom. Yeah. We're not even giving Pepe any games. He's not been part of many matchday squads that I can remember. He's already been out alone. And this season, all right, we're going to find out whether he's fit or not. But again, we run out of time because you can only get the best out of players Sorry, not the best out of them. You can get the best out of them. You play them. But you can also get the salaries or the transfer fees from if they play. You know, you can't. Managers ain't going to buy a player out of memory. You know what I mean? Or word of mouth. They've got to see whether you can still do it. And we know he's more than capable. But a manager who's having to risk, you know, his job, risk team, you know, the team patterns. They don't know that, and that's the biggest problem we have. You look at the situation with Kepa in goal. You know, why was Kepa brought back? Yeah, because Mendy was having a bit of a mare. Not much of a mare, but a bit of a mare. But he cost Chelsea £72 million, which means that's an asset. The reason why there was been fallouts between Lampard and Grace guys because Lampard went, no, I'm not happy with this goalkeeper. I don't care if you're paying £70 million for him. I want someone else in. Business-wise, you want to pay maximum players. We're probably having that with Havertz now, £65 million, get him the team. But that's not just the businessman. That's Arteta anyway. Arteta's got too much pride to put his hand up and say, you know what, this ain't going to work. He's going to make that work whether we like it or not.
Fact. Before we wind this up, I'm going to come to you first, Diesel.
Yeah.
We now go and get Ivan Toney.
Oh, all day long. Yeah. Jess, right? I watched that Diary of a CEO with that Stephen Bartlett, right? Now, once again, we had it with Zaha, Mudryk, and certain other players, right? I've been in sales, Jez. I know what a buying signal is. That was a clear buying signal, right? He was asked, you supported Liverpool as a kid. He quickly rushed over that, and then he went to the main bit he wanted to say, I've always liked Arsenal. Yeah, he didn't go on and on about his boyhood club, Liverpool. He wanted to talk about Arsenal. Yeah. He likes the way we play. But that, for me, is a buying signal, right? There is no way this man is on a ban at the moment, can't play football. He's doing an interview, not like with all... He's on my channel, like hardly anyone's going to see. He's on a channel like that where that's nice. Everyone's going to watch that, right? And he had the chest and the confidence to actually talk about Arsenal like that. For me, after watching that, Mikel should have got straight on the phone and sorted something out, because I'm telling you now, that's more or less him saying, Arsenal, come and get me. I want to join you.
Yes.
And if we get him, for me, that's the final piece of the jigsaw for me.
Yeah. And the fact he's allowed back in training, I believe, is in 8-9 days or something like that. And now I've had this debate with some other Chelsea, Spurs guys that I drink with, right? And they've said, but you're going to spend like whatever millions you're going to spend on him. He can't play till January. I said, yes. Think about it. Arsenal after Christmas. We've seen it so many times. We saw it last season. We started hard. We started fast. All right, we had the World Cup. That interrupted everything. But how many times do we go hard and fast under Wenger, right? Top of the league at Christmas, third by the start of February. It's been time. Yeah. The perfect time is to buy Toney now. He can train with the squad. He can play in the practice games. He can get used to the teammates. And then come January, when he's allowed to play, we can bring him in. Maybe only 40 minutes. Maybe not as a starter, but bring him on second half. I mean, look, I'm no tactician. I've watched a lot of bloody football in my life, like you guys have had. If I can see it, can Arsenal see it? Surely to God, it's an opportunity that he wants to come to Arsenal. No disrespect.
Do you know what? I do, and I said this a little bit about Zaha. I'm not a massive fan of his, but there's something about a player who actually likes the club, who actually wants to join the club. There's something, for me, they tend to give more. And I think, and I'll tell you something now, if we found out tomorrow that Arsenal have agreed a deal with Ivan Toney, Jez, I am more than happy for the next few months. I'm more than happy to go with Eddie and Trossard and Jesus, but I'm more than happy. If that comes out tomorrow, that the Toney deal is done, and we've got to put up with this until he comes. Do you know what? You won't hear any moaning from me on my channel anymore. I'm telling you.
Exactly. I just don't understand why. I mean, we've still got, and I'm going to come to you now, Kenny. We've still got Holding, El Neni. It looks like Irish, and it looks like the Conda might be out the door from today. And good luck to him. But Kenny, let's just go and get Ivan Toney now. Get him a little bit cheaper, because when it comes to January,
there's no reason not to get him, Chase. No reason not to get him. People can put as many barriers as they like, but the fact is that a top club should be associated with top strikers, and Ivan Toney has done it in the Premiership. You know, people say, "Oh, he's only been there 2 years." Well, yeah, he scored goals in his first full season. Second season, a season that got disrupted at the 11th hour because of his ban, scored 20 league goals.
Yeah.
And how many strikers, with the exception of Harry Kane, have the capability of doing that regularly? I can think of maybe.
And a team like Brentford as well, with all due respect.
Exactly. Brentford. Song done it once. We know Salah could do it. We know Mane could do it. But apart from that, I'm scratching my head, and I'm having to get my think cap on, and I can't find no one. So if he's available, buy him. There's no reason why we can't go for him. We do need the goals. And let's not face it, Jesus has still got a recurrence of the injury that he endured last season. So that's a situation where we have to look at it and think, right, even when Jesus comes back, is he going to be fully fit? And then we have to look at another conundrum. Does Jesus really score the goals that can propel us to the league, or even get a challenge to the Champions League? You have to say no politely, but you rate his other skills. So we do need goals. Man City bought the second best striker in Europe, and look what happened. They won a treble. I think Pepe's better than Haaland, by the way, but only slightly. But that's the level that we need to go to in regarding that. So yeah, it's a no-brainer, and it can be done. But the way the club are operating, players are going to have to be sold. Rob Holding, I don't know what he does. I don't know. We have to. Maybe I'm going to go Roy Keane and say maybe he's a good club man. Maybe he's a Mitchell Marsh, Mitchell Marsh type player, and the same El Neni, good club man, Mitchell Marsh types. But we get rid of them. That frees up a space in terms of the FFP and the wages. In a sort of perverse sort of way, the club are kind of hedging their bets on not getting rid of the good club men. They're using a youngster who's hardly played for us but got a fantastic potential. I was thinking, you know what? We put a price tag on him. If a club is going to go for him, then boom, that will help us maybe get someone else in. I think they're hedging their bets on two players, Balogun and Lukonga, those sort of players. And I know Tavares as well is another one that the club are looking at. So there's three players, three young players who they think
another one.
They think that they're going to get like a good fee, a goodish fee for, and clubs will be interested. There's definitely going to be clubs that in the Premiership are going to look at Tavares and went, yeah, I'll give him a chance. They're going to look at Balogun and said, yes, please. I'll give him a chance because of his potential. And they're certainly going to do that with Lukonga because Albert, there's something about Albert. Albert's got fantastic potential. It's just that we haven't got the time to wait for Albert to grow. We just haven't got the time.
No.
And Jez, sorry, I was just going to say, right? Very quickly, the Ivan Toney, for me, it's also a smart signing because I'll tell you why, right? A lot of Arsenal fans are talking about getting in. We still need another right-sided, like an understudy to Saka or someone to. You get Toney, then I'd look at Jesus and move him to the right. So I mean, if you think you got Jesus and Saka both on the right, can both take it in turns, half time we're 2-3-0 up. If Saka comes off and Jesus comes on, no one's moaning at that, right? And obviously, you got Toney up front. But I just wanted to quickly say, because no one was really talking about this, right? Everyone's in panic mode now because of Timber being out, and we have this problem at left back. I keep hearing about this boy, Ruel Walters, right? Who's meant to be really good, right? He's in the reserves or in the the under 21s or whatever. He's meant to be really good. And I'm looking at that thinking, why are we not? I'd like to see more academy players coming through. I really like those couple that, is it Palmer and what's his name? The one.
Cole Palmer at Man City.
Yeah, and the other one, I've got his name now.
Rico Lewis.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, do you know what, Arsenal, you could actually save yourselves a few bob here and at least integrate him into I'm not saying put him in every single game, but I'm hearing from a lot of people, he's meant to be really good and he's the next one to come through. So there's part of me thinking, do you know what, put him in the first team squad and give him 20 minutes towards the end of the game or whatever, integrate him slowly and let's see. We don't use our academies often enough, but it costs us a fortune. It winds me up. But yeah, that's just my point.
We've got an academy player. Obviously, they mentioned Ranieri when Ranieri played against Brentford. But the Smith Rowe conundrum is something that's it's always going to be at the back of our minds because he's now fully fit. As far as he's fully fit now, he's overcome his injuries. But you look at the sort of the traffic of the motorway. It's chock a block in terms of getting that first team.
But Ken,
you're thinking about the position being marked for Smith Rowe. Havertz, the position that he play, I think he plays his best football. We just bought Havertz, and if we look at the left hand side, where I don't think he plays his best football, but he's effective enough. Even after Martinelli, we've got Trossard in front of him.
Yeah.
So we're talking gridlock in terms of him getting into our squad, into our first team.
Plus, you got Fabio Vieira, who Arteta will always put forward first.
I even forgot about him.
But can I just ask you, right? Because you go to games. Have I got a bit of a case here, Kenny? I say it loads of times on my streams. Emil Smith Rowe, I really like him, right? I really like him. But there's something about him that every time I watch him, he reminds me a little bit of. Do you remember Raphael van der Vaart at Spurs? Really yes. Whatever reason, Smith Rowe to me, he just cannot complete a game. I don't know what it is. If there's a fitness issue, he is one of those players who, for me, can't go full throttle for 90 minutes. And if you remember, Van der Vaart was very much like that, wasn't he?
I think the thing with Smith Rowe is that you think about how we played pre last season. He fits into that kind of style. The style when we're trying to get the fourth place. Yeah. He played fantastically well, got the goals. The season before that, even the lockdown season, he played fantastically well, got the goals. But you always thought that we now know that the style of play we played in those two seasons was a temporary style of play. I think what we saw last season and parts of this season is actually how the manager wants to set up. And that's why you're going to see casualties. The way the manager sets up means that one of the biggest casualties at left back is Kieran Tierney. The way the manager's setting up right now, Smith Rowe is a worrying casualty to the extent that he can see a pathway for Fabio Vieira in terms of how he wants to play. But in terms of Smith Rowe, it's a kind of difference. And you get the feeling that players that he's inherited, very few of them have managed to last a course in terms of this new style of play. Saka, was Unai Emery brought him into the team, but he's developed Saka, and Saka's developed himself into a mainstay, and he must play all the time. And then who else is there? It's one of those things that you think, well, that's it, really. Yeah. That's it.
Totally agree. Totally agree. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Kenny Ken, thank you for coming, mate, as always.
I enjoy myself, you know what I mean?
Always regular on the Wednesday show. Mate, shout yourself out on your socials, my friend, please.
Well, I'm at Kenny Ken 1972 on Instagram. I've completely given up on Twitter, but I will answer questions on Twitter if I'm asked directly. Just want to say that. So I want to say thank you again to Diego for getting me home safe and sound from Crystal Palace. I know it was out your way, mate, but I really appreciate everything you did, and my wife thinks you're great as well for getting me home as well. Also, I just want to say that I had an interesting conversation with a good friend of of Diesel's, and someone that Jez likes a lot, and he's the brother-in-law of early doors, the West Ham man. Yeah, yeah. We had a very interesting conversation before the Crystal Palace game in the away entrance. Away entrance. Okay, I just basically said no trophies. Arteta gets P45. We can't get fairer than that. And it was
started crying, right?
Absolutely. Diesel, mate, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you,
loving your content when you stream. Love it when Warren does his stuff on your stream. The last one he did, the Jack the Ripper thing, was absolutely legendary. And big up to you for doing that, my friend. But mate, shout yourself out, and when we're going to see more of you.
Yeah, well, firstly, Jess, thanks as always, mate. You know that for having me on. I really do appreciate it. It's nice to speak to like-minded Arsenal fans and obviously talk a bit of sense. I need to get Kenny on my channel. I think I've had it a year, and you've not been on once, Ken. But I know obviously timing. And,
you know where to find me. I don't move house that much.
Honestly, it's just the times, isn't it? It's just mad. But yeah, honestly, I'll hit you up on that, and obviously, Jez, as you know, as per usual, we'll do something. I am actually going on holiday. I'm going to Spain on Monday. So Lee said obviously give him a bell. So I'll give him a bell when I'm out there. So hopefully catch up for a drink out there. 10 days, mate. I'm going for. So I'll obviously once I'm back, the aim is. I say this all the time. Everyone's bored of it now. I say all the time. I need to try and do smaller streams. And I don't know what it is, Jez. I get passionate about something. And do you know what it is? It's not my fault. It's the chat's fault because I feed off of them.
Yeah, right? I know
I'll go to talk about one thing and then someone will put something in. I want to talk about that. And then I digress all the time. So, that's my fault, to be honest with you. But a little bit often, I want to try and start doing, even if it's sort of 2-3 times a week. Because with this game, it's very much, I've noticed, it's very much out of sight, out of mind, you know? So, we've just got to try and keep up with the racing pack. So, So,
I'm going to say to you, I did last week when I hit 4,000 subs. I was going to.
Congrats, by the way, mate.
Yeah, thank you, man. I was going to do a 15 max minute show. And because I was totally unscripted, I nothing written down, like I do have bullet points like I had tonight, right? And it went on for over an hour because I was like reading the chat and chatting to people in the chat, putting their comments out, which is great. I love it. I love it when people, it is tricky when you've got like tonight 4 people on. I like all the chats, but you can't always interact.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a show tomorrow. I'm doing a show tomorrow night, which will only be, I'm saying it now, be a maximum of 15 minutes. It'll probably be an hour. I don't know.
You know, didn't you?
You just don't know. But some people said to me, Jez, why do you always have guests on? Because I like the interaction. I like the opinions. I like to get like Kenny's. I like to get yours. I like to get TJ's. Next Wednesday, Lee will be back on here. He couldn't make it tonight. He had a pre-booking, fair play. But it's nice to get people's opinions and have a chat with them. Because we don't always agree with each other. I mean, we had a chat earlier about Havertz and everything, and people didn't always. Fair play. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
We're adults. We are all adults here. We're not little childish idiots that come in the chat and want their 5 seconds of fame because they don't really know what they're talking about and just want to interject bullshit. It is what it is, and I just love having different people on. I've got a core of people that I work with now. There's a few people that have basically kicked me off. I don't know why, but there you go. Happens. That's life. But guys, we're out of here. Thanks to everybody that's watched. Please subscribe. smash the likes up. It really does help the channel to get it out there, get more traction. It helps the algorithm. Ken, thank you very much, mate. Enjoy the game Saturday. I'm sure I'll speak to you before that.
Definitely. It's going to be massive. It's it's one of those things. Like, I just feel sorry for some of our fans who happen to get a train to the game because once train strikes as well.
Oh God, yeah, nightmare.
I think the thing about it, right, is that this is in terms of like football fans, we rely on the trains. Fans rely on trains and transport. Something has to be done. You know, there's a reason why they're not budging. Surely, there has to be money in a tank for these guys. Surely.
Locked me up last year twice for 2 games. Ended up watching it in a pub in Three Bridges with some Tottenham fans when I was going up to the Tottenham Arsenal, and great bunch of guys, actually. Great bunch of guys. I'm still in communication with them. Nice guys, fellas.
Nice.
Diesel, man. Thank you for coming on. And I'll do the outro. We're out of here, people. Let's look forward to the game. I'll see you tomorrow night. I'm doing another show. It'll only be a short show. Probably not, but there we go. I'm learning off Diesel.
I'm teaching you well, Jez.
Totally unscripted, and then it goes on forever. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks, guys.